Hi everyone, my name's Amy. I'm 29 years old. I'm a uni student, an artist, a wheelchair user, and I have cerebral palsy. And I'm going to be drawing from my life and my experiences as a disabled woman to go through some common myths about cerebral palsy and address those with you today. So let's get started. Firstly, cerebral palsy is not always caused by malpractice. Traditionally, cerebral palsy is defined as a disability that occurs as a result of trauma that occurs either before, during, or after birth. In my particular case, I was born 3 months premature, tiny little baby, not even a kilo in weight when I was born. And what caused that early birth was my mother actually had a cyst on her uterus that perforated or burst, and then she started hemorrhaging internally, and that hemorrhaging is what brought on the labour for her so early. My mum nearly bled out and died, and obviously I nearly died because I was so premature. But luckily the doctors my mum had experiences with that day were very highly practiced and did everything they could, and both my mother and I survived to this day. Cerebral palsy itself is considered a non-progressive condition. In my case, the brain damage I sustained because of my premature birth will always be there. I will always have brain damage. But because of my lifestyle and the way that I live as a person with CP, there are certain side effects that I do experience that affect my life. Because I'm sitting down all the time, I'm in a wheelchair 90% of the time, my posture is affected. I have a slouch, my muscles get very tense, and they don't never really get flexed or exercised in the same way that an able-bodied person might experience. That can lead to things like muscle tightness, spasms, even things like digestive issues and bladder issues, and can even lead to things like osteoporosis and arthritis later in life. CP itself is non-progressive, but the side effects of CP can and do progress. In 2018, the Cerebral Palsy Alliance estimated that 1 in 700 babies is diagnosed with some form of CP, and currently in Australia, over 35,000 people have some form of CP, so it is not rare. We're everywhere. And I like to think of it as just a natural variation in the human experience. This is a complicated statement, and I think, unfortunately, my full answer is outside the scope of this particular assignment. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and pretend that physical and intellectual disabilities don't impact a child's capacity to achieve, but I think more than that, we live in an ableist society. The world isn't built for people with physical and intellectual disabilities to thrive in, and I think that fact in itself is often more limiting than a person's individual physical or intellectual limitations. With the right supports in place from an individual and structural level, if a child with CP has a dream and they want to pursue a career, then they can achieve it.